Look it up.
All right.
All right. Okay.
That's what you
we got
call
one,
green
which is all you need. One is so much better than none.
That's right.
So, hey, welcome everybody to Crypto Mondays Bitcoin. I'm Lou Kerner. I started Crypto Mondays on January 8th, 2018.
Long time ago.
When I started it, I had no speakers because most of the time I'm in a meetup and people are speaking, I wish they'd shut the fuck up. Because I really think the value is in the networking, right? This is a community, and Crypto Mondays, what I'm proud of, so I'm pretty sure more founders, co-founders have found each other Crypto Mondays around the world because they were sitting out there drinking, not sitting here listening to this. But you get a lot more people if you have content, and so I decided to put together the best fucking content I could that I would enjoy. And so, we're here to learn and here to spend time with our friends. And so I have the pleasure tonight of co-hosting with my friend Chris. So Chris, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris.
Chris!
I gotta say, it's wonderful to have been a Crypto Mondays human for as long as I have been. I was the first one with Lou. So it's amazing to see how it's grown. We've celebrated at these events.
You put it closer to the mouth.
We've celebrated at these events around the world.
Yes.
And that's a marvelous thing. I'm a big part of Crypto Mondays Los Angeles, and it's just nice to see vibrant minds get together on a weekly basis and just shoot the shit and commiserate when the markets are down and kind of laugh it off. But yeah, I think Lou's known me for a good long while, and this is obviously a Bitcoin bar, and there's plenty of Bitcoin maxis in the world. I think Lou knows me as the Ethereum maxi amongst his bunch. So anyhow, it's a fine pleasure to meet everyone, and it's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Yes. And so we started verticalizing about 6 months ago, Crypto Mondays. So the first, for years, we just did, a general Crypto Mondays. And now the first Monday of the month is Crypto Mondays Wall Street. And that's great. When I started, I was kind of a Wall Street guy, and it was a very Wall Street event. And it's great to engage in. And I really think, of everything, the biggest difference between New York and the rest of the world is Wall Street and the fact that it's here. So being able to leverage that has been super interesting and help build the community. They want community. The second Monday of the month is decentralized AI, which is where I'm spending the majority of my time. Pretty sure that's the thing. And then the third is, I've been crypto 7.5 years, 24/7. And to some degree, it's been a 7.5-year journey of becoming more and more of a Bitcoin maxi. That said, I am not. and weirdly, when I went to Nashville, I didn't even feel like I was with my community because everybody there is they were excited to be around the government, and I'm here to get as far away from the government as possible.
Amen to that. Right?
But also, I think we're a big tent. Seriously, we're a big tent. And the awesome thing about Bitcoin is I can be off elsewhere, you guys can be there, and you're actually working for me and my best interest, and I totally fucking appreciate that.
That's the decentralized nature of everything.
Exactly. So I thank you for what you do, and why don't you explain to the folks here what you do?
Thank you. Well, I'm Bruce Porter Jr. Lou Kerner invited me. I was so excited when he did. Of course, PubKey, such a historic place. And then what happens this week?
Thank you, PubKey.
Right, thank you, PubKey. We have Laura Trump coming here with Mr. Wonderful. If you didn't watch the interview, you should really watch it. It was really something else. I'll tell you though, it was pretty funny, right? Don't hold your coins, guys. Don't hold your coins. You'll lose them. Put them on Coinbase. But anyway, other than that, hey, look, it's always good to have more people involved in the place. We got in, my brother and I, we got in really early. Fairly early anyway. Bitcoin $70. It's been a heck of a ride. We've done a lot of different events over the time. We're doing we want to be kind of like Lou Kerner. I mean, maybe in his shadow. But we are doing Bitcoin Palooza, so I want you to join us on Wednesday at the Sugar Mouse. Bitcoin Palooza. Easy to find, bitcoinpalooza.nyc. So join us over there. And that community has really been what it's all about. And I mean, I'll go on, but I'll let the conversation go.
Well, no, let's talk a little bit more about Bitcoin Palooza and what that's about, because I'm going to be there.
Awesome. You are. You're going to be on stage. I was like, all right, cool. He gave me the thumbs up. I'm like, I guess that's a yes, right? That's a yes. Okay. And then I sent him his banner. Well, Bitcoin Palooza is really, it's something that my friend Randy here, I used to say, I thought it was all myself. It was all me. This is what I said. It's all me. I thought it was all myself. No, I'm just kidding.
Community member?
No, yeah, community. Listen, they have the Coinheads band, and they started this thing called Bitcoin Palooza. We hopped on board, and it's really turned into something really special. And that is really what it's all about, right? Is the community. And that's like when I talk about around the world about what's going on in the world, period, right? We are the most powerful community in the world, the Bitcoin community, the crypto community, the most powerful community in the world. Doesn't matter where you are, right? You can be in Kiev or
Don't forget, he's an
Shanghai
Ethereum maxi.
or wherever. Crypto. We all believe in, what do we believe in? We believe in freedom, we believe in privacy, and we believe in ownership. And so actually this time around, this last 3 or 4 years, it's become more obvious than ever.
I gotta say, that's great. Because I don't think there's anybody, right, regardless of where you are in the tent, who aren't for that.
Right?
I mean, I would advocate that it's really important to understand that Bitcoin paved a path that allows a tremendous amount of true freedom in financial exploration. Now, I'll make an argument that it could be more programmable. We could do we could do more fun stuff.
And yes.
I know that's fair. No, we can actually let's talk about Taproot. I mean, if you're like, let's go to the hole. Let's go. But yeah, no. My argument here is that these things created a group of mindsets that allowed for people to kind of start thinking more openly about economics, and that's one of the things that I do really love about, like all of us crypto people can agree, like wherever we might have our bags. There's more open-mindedness in finance and more transparency in this finance, and I think that's a better world for all participants, right? So,
do you have a view?
We can agree.
Do you have a view on Chris on Bitcoin L2s?
So I mean, clearly, right? Like
let's hear it.
Ethereum's got its own L2s, right? So I make a mathematic argument about this. One of the things that I think is like really important is there's okay, all right, I'll do this.
I'm not touching that one.
That's fair. I'll just leave that there. So Bitcoin layer 2s. A mathematic argument can be made that we should have them, right? And that there should be some way to cryptographically roll up the work done on another layer up into a mainnet. Now, this happens all the time in traditional finance. We're talking Wall Street. It's called netting. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Bank of America owes JP Morgan $400 million.
Yep, that's how it works.
It's how it works. At some level, they just like true up, and then it eventually hits the books. So we're not inventing anything new by saying let's layer 2 an asset. If like we know that centralizing is a risk, right? Including centralizing on a chain. But you don't have to centralize on cryptography. So there's a win in that. And this is where I say the Ethereum 2 guys, like, we're like pretty on the ahead of this, realizing that we were just going to have to figure out netting at some level pretty early and then dog food that into the rest of the tech. But
Well, I'll tell you what I think is amazing is that we have guys like Chris and like you and like other developers that I'm sure are out here right now that are able to all participate. We're able to all go into the GitHub or go wherever it is and look at that code, make some, make our mark. And that's really what it's all about. And when you talk about, decentralization and everything else and the layer 2s and all that stuff, guys, it is like we're still at the infancy in that part. And I told Lou, I said, well, one of the other things I want to talk about is Liberland. Now, Liberland is a micronation that started about 10 years ago. I met the president about 8 years ago, and I've been working with them since then. And I am now the Washington, D.C. rep. They told me that's like the ambassador, but we're not recognized yet. So I said, okay, great. So I'm on the Hill sometimes.
Let's go back. How did you meet the president?
So I met the president. I'm in Dubai. I saw him on TV.
Yeah.
I am in Dubai, and the guy comes up to me, the coordinator for the conference. He said, Bruce, I want you to meet President Vitt. And I said, who? He says, President Fit. I said, who? He says, the president of Lieberland. And I'm like, Lieberland? Are you kidding me? And that place really exists? He says, yeah, the president's right over here. So anyway, the point is about Lieberland and why do you bring it up? Lieberland is doing everything on the blockchain. We have the Lieberland dollar. We have the Lieberland merit. We're doing the government stuff on the blockchain. And that, in the early days of Bitcoin, that's what I saw. That this wasn't only just our money, okay? It's our own money, yes, but it's also our own governance mechanism. It's all our own consensus mechanism. We can run everything on this stuff. And that's why everybody has been trying to fight it, and now they're just throwing it in the bag and trying to buy it all.
Yeah, a really good friend of mine is the medical director of Satoshi Island, which is, it sounds like a similar product of Vanuatu, South Pacific island nation, took one of their islands and they said, okay, we're going to totally run it on the blockchain.
Yep.
And it's happening all over the world.
That was one of the first reasons I went to Dubai. So I'm like sitting there, doing the Bitcoin thing, going anywhere anybody ever asked me, like, hey, Bruce, you want to come speak? We're speaking in Tbilisi. All right, I'm in. We're speaking in Kiev.
You've been to Tbilisi?
So I'm actually doing an event in Tbilisi in June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. I've been to Crypto Mondays in Lithuania.
In the main town there?
Yeah. I will think of it.
Yeah.
Vilnius. Yes, thank you. Crypto Monday Vilnius.
Nice.
It was spectacularly beautiful.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those places are so beautiful. In a former life, I was an ice skater. So I don't talk about that much because it was like a long time ago. I'm getting up there. But I traveled all over Eastern Europe in these places.
Wow.
Yes.
So, so let me ask, as a person who has a definite affinity towards one of the assets, where do you see Bitcoin evolving in the next? Like we've seen things like Taproot, we've seen things like we've seen these innovations, right? Where do you see it heading? I mean, there's plenty of weirdness in the alts space. Lots of engineering, and one of the things is like, where do you where do you see it, and where do you think it should be?
All right, so awesome question, because I'll tell you what, I used to tell people, like, look, guys, everybody's like, oh, I'm a Bitcoin maxi, the rest of them, they need to go. If they win, everything will be fine, it'll be fine. I'm like, you guys don't understand. What do you think, in the early days, what do you think people had to buy in order to get the altcoins? They had to buy Bitcoin. That was it. That was why Bitcoin pumped over and over again, was because you had to buy Bitcoin in order to get altcoins.
Let's not forget
Or
that's let's not forget that that's how it works.
Major
or you had to buy Bitcoin to get drugs.
Well, or women.
Like all sparkly things you use Bitcoin for. That's what I'm saying.
All sparkly things. Yeah, so where are we going with that?
No, I'm just, it's a rich history. That's all I'm trying to point out.
To get back to it, it was just like, where did we wave a magic wand? Bitcoin's got, 1 minute block times. Things are substantially different. Is it a settlement layer? Is it a forwarding layer for other things? Ethereum's trying to eat everything. Just boldly going out there trying to do it all. What's Grandpa Coin gonna do?
Grandpa Coin gonna do? Well, it's pretty interesting because, of course, that's what everybody wants, right? So I don't think that you look at the Taproot, you look at the fast one, whatever that's called. I mean, things have taken off a little bit, but they haven't really taken off, right? I mean, it's like everyone just likes their Bitcoin. Like, I don't want the Bitcoin on this layer. I want my Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. So I think in general, Bitcoin is that asset that a lot of people want.
It's the modern gold.
Yeah, it's the modern gold. But as far as development goes, there's a lot of other stuff out there.
No, for sure.
And I think that, we're pushing the envelope all over. Now, of course, we have more and more, legislation and everything coming out, which is scary. I mean, I talked about it, like the bid bonds and this and that and the other. I mean, man, that scares me. What, are we going to print up a bunch more money and buy Bitcoins?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say I was a little disturbed by how dismissive of gold Chris was.
Well, no, it's look, it's fair. That's fair.
It's seriously for 5,000 years.
No,
Literally,
like,
it's been like
And
the
we've had
one
a great
thing
year.
that's
We've
gone
had a
like
great year.
exactly,
Okay.
and it continues to fucking crush it.
Okay, all right.
And to me, if that's all it is,
So
if
let me just go. It's like let me just pause for 10
All right,
seconds
Mr.
here. All right. No. Hear me out. It's just like so rare earth metals. All right, sir. Let's talk about rare earth metals in a world where we've got starships. Okay. Now I know it sounds crazy, but just crazy enough to do. And this is the reason why the Winklevi are so like hands down on this. Just like and like a little off on gold like I am as well. Because in reality, the king of the United States could use his rockets to. By the way, we don't have a king, but like that's a meta
yes,
joke.
we get it.
All right, the South African king of the United States can decide to crash a rock on like Africa or Australia, and then just like throw it right into the ground and change the price of gold overnight. Like trivially, like you just
Have you heard of Occam's razor?
I get it. I'm just saying, it's like, there's, and by the way, like graphene and other things, there's stuff that what we make it valuable for can actually shift and change over time. And so if you look at a material sciences perspective and say, well, we need gold for AI chips, and in a world where like the pricing is at where it's at, graphene will become real. Okay, that's what's going to happen on material science. So it's this like thing where it's like I wouldn't.
So we
be
have
wrong gold.
strayed far from Bitcoin.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like no one owns enough Bitcoin.
It is so true, and I think that one of the main things that Bitcoin, but crypto in particular, continues to be is this fundraising mechanism, right? If you have a new idea, if you have some technology that you want to do, you can produce a token out there, you can call it a meme, you can drop it at midnight in a big party, and hopefully it pops to billions of dollars.
Yeah, actually, I was just here. Umair, I don't know, he's probably not here. He's probably out there, but he just launched a meme coin on Solana. It's like $40 million. Yeah,
it's a collectible.
So it's still a massive thing. But I say so. As I said at the start, I like asking questions with friends for 20 minutes, and then open it up to the audience. If anybody has any questions of Bruce and what he does in Bitcoin Palooza, anybody going once?
I know what he does.
Yeah. Well, Randy, what do you want to say about it that Bruce did?
He actually had his hand behind you, but you can't go ahead.
Bruce is Bruce.
All right, turn it off.
No, Bruce is great. Actually, Bruce is great. I could see of an idea. Bruce moves so fast. He scared me. He did scare me. I'll tell you what. No, I'll be honest. But he's probably the best person that I know doing events in this space. Because I met him from his Washington Elite events, and he was just making events out of thin air. It was like DIY, community based, and ever since then we've been doing things together. So I can't really say enough about it.
All right, that's enough. Pass the mic. Yeah.
But Bitcoin Palooza,
yes,
we're going to be playing it, and it's going to be fantastic. And if you miss it, you're going to be very sad. I think we're going to pump a coin live on stage. We're going to have a pump it up song with a coin that's going to drop. We're not going to say much more, and you're going to love it. And Bitcoin Palooza, here we go.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. Don't listen to that.
I often say the reason that people come to Crypto Mondays is because they know there's not going to be any shilling, right?
There you go.
So I'll leave you with one last thing, then I'll give them the time back if they don't have. What is?
Did you have a question?
We got questions?
Sorry, got questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So both Bruce and Chris actually. So I get your point about starships and precious metals. It's a valid point, but I think this is the point about Bitcoin. I always say Bitcoin is more like digital diamonds.
Yeah.
They're like digital gold. Because the point about diamonds is that they were just carbon, right? It's years of energy that went into making them diamonds.
That's a much more apt description. And
Well, hold on a minute. How did gold become gold? Did it just happen overnight?
Yeah, but it's the point is that there's energy. The energy that transfers and make bitcoins is the feature.
No, that
And when you start talking, and when you look at things like quantum, that's coming, right?
So the quantum
This is going to be what differentiates reality from fiction.
But okay, so quantum is a very real threat in all of cryptography.
The question though, is that by the same token, you know, Bitcoin is money as far as I'm concerned, but data and AI is EVM. That's really where it is. So, and we are like a speck in the financial system world. So how do we bring these together? How do we actually really find a way to leverage the benefits of both systems?
So to your point, like the quantum side, we have lattice encryption. We have like at least 5 quantum-resistant algorithms in place today to fully overcome the threat of like quantum supremacy. So and also know that Bitcoin, even though it is like absolutely mathematically super sound, there are developers who keep the code updated on a yearly basis, and it rolls out and stuff just happens. So it is an evolving process. Like even still, there's no changes to the rules, but there can be changes to the cryptography for like defense of all things. Like it's just a natural upgrade. So the quantum side doesn't scare me. I don't like, we got the crypto, like it's gonna be fine. And then for me, it's like, okay, now that we have this mathematic safeness, what does this mean in a world of AI agents that can analyze information and then stop loss us and do things like, there are things where smart contracts and intelligence on chain and it starts getting fun for sure.
Awesome. I do want to say a couple things, so I know we're wrapping up here. Number 1, the top may be in. The top may be in. You know, like the top might be in, guys. I don't know. You know, we could pump from here, but of course the strategic reserve was a bit of a flop, and we could you know move down from there. But as a community, which is what this is all about, right? As a community, we need to all help each other out. We need to work with each other, like Lou Kerner has done here. And I want to say a big thank you to Crypto Mondays and Lou Kerner. Lou said to me a year or 2 or 3 years ago, we were somewhere else, Paris or somewhere else. He says, Bruce, don't ask me if you can use Crypto Mondays, just use Crypto Mondays. And that goes to everybody. You hear it right here from me. Don't ask Lou if you can use it, just use it. Do your own Crypto Mondays, throw your own Crypto Mondays, build the community, and he will support you. Thank you very much.
Rock and roll. So, any more questions? Going once? Yep.
There's one quick question. The country that you're the ambassador for is Liberland?
Land. Land.
Okay,
Liberland.
I did the research
Nice.
already.
Yeah.
I'm actually the ambassador of a country called Kingdom of Kush. Right?
I've heard of Kush.
23
Woo!
different countries.
Yes.
Actually.
You know Stephen Melnick, my good friend.
Yeah.
Micronations for the win.
Listen, guys, we had our own money first. Now we have our own country. Woo!
All right, let's give Bruce a big hand. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Lou.
Yeah, we're going to stand up, but I can.
Thank you. Let's get a photo. Yeah. David, can you take a photo for us?
This is going to be time for the networking session. But just a pause.
Hey, Lou.
Next week,
Lou.
we're going to have Crypto
Can we get a
Mondays
photo real
in New
quick?
York City at the Rose. Invite's going to go out today on Luma. It's going to be on meme coins and AI. So it'll be an interesting big one next week, next Monday at the Rose. And